All right, all right. It's Tuesday. Tuesday. That's like one day into the week, right? Or 2 days, kind of, sort of, depending on how you look at it. How's everybody doing? I'm going to do a little Q&A. But first, as you guys know, we got episode 2 of Can You Survive This Podcast up and running with Corey Marks, who's a up-and-coming country rock artist. I mean, the guy's super cool. Not only is he becoming I think he just got his first gold album. So he's selling music and living the dream. But on top of that, he's also a pilot. He's a hockey player and all around just great guy. So make sure you go check out episode 2 of Can You Survive This Podcast? And if you didn't check out last week's with Mike Ritlin, it's entertaining to say the least. So make sure you go check that one out too. We get into saving his ass, literally, in Singapore. And then we get into talking about his Ferrari and some other skills that you can use driving his Ferrari to run people over, basically, at least to get yourself out of a bad situation. And then with Corey, well, you have to go listen to find out the scenario we gave him. But basically, it's a kidnapping scenario. But with that, I wanted to cover some of the stuff that we've been talking about, starting with high-speed driving. High-speed driving isn't something you should, go out and just do anywhere. You've got to plan it a little bit. Obviously, a nice big open parking lot. You don't want any other vehicles or people in the way. So safety first, obviously. Make sure your tires are filled up, usually 5 PSI over max. You want those tires hard as a rock and glued to the wheel rim so that they don't roll. The tire rolls off the rim, then you have a flat tire. And when you're putting a lot of pressure on one side of the vehicle or another, then you increase the odds of a flat tire. So, take the time and make sure you get your car all sorted first. But some of the maneuvers you can do is obviously reverse 180s, J-turns, and then, of course, the high-speed driving. There's also the pit maneuver. All of these different driving skills are in Hunter Daily Skills Book 1. But the gist of all of them is you're just shifting weight. You're playing with weight displacement of the vehicle in order to make the vehicle do what you want. And you don't need a whole lot of speed to pull these off. Usually 3 car lengths of space, and you can do either a reverse 180 or a J-turn. Now, the reverse 180 is a lot of like eye, foot, hand coordination because you're putting in reverse, you're hitting the gas, getting up roughly 20, 25 miles an hour, and then you're going to spin that steering wheel as hard as you can, one direction or the other. And when it does, your back tires become a pivot point, and then the front tires swing around, and then you can get the vehicle going the right direction, away from the threat that's in front of you. And in the middle of all that, you got to shift to neutral. Once the nose gets to where it's going, get to neutral, then put it in drive, and then get out of there. And this is where you have to be really careful because you don't want to leave your transmission sitting on the road. So, make sure you're checking it out or doing it properly in nice, slow steps first before, you do anything else. All right. J-turns. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by questions and stuff that pop up. We'll get to these in a little bit, I promise. J-turns, basically a button hook, right? Coming at, and then you turn and then head the other way, right? And that one's easier because it doesn't require as much eye, hand, foot coordination. It's really keep it in drive, and you're using your emergency brake. The emergency brake is tied to your rear axle, right? Rear tires only. And so the idea is you get those back tires floating, right? As soon as they start floating, you hit the steering wheel all the way around, and then the trunk end of the vehicle will whip around, and then you obviously punch it again. Let off the emergency brake and keep on going. Now, these newer cars become more and more difficult. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but it can be done with some practice. And, of course, make and model of any vehicle, you have to take all that into consideration. But that's really the down and dirty on some of the high-speed maneuvers we're talking about in the podcast. We also get into trunk escapes, right? You guys have seen this in book 1 where if you find yourself thrown into the trunk of a vehicle, you need to know how to get out. It starts with looking at your own vehicle trunk first, okay? Because it is used most of the time in an express carjacking. You get thrown into your own trunk. So it's a good idea to take time and look at all the trunks, make sure that you know how to get out of your own trunk. Most of them have an emergency release these days, or a push button that's usually lit up, or it's glow in the dark and it'll release and let you out. They've been doing those since 2003, or newer vehicles. Now your older vehicles, much different. It's very difficult to get out of those unless you have a plan. So you can kick down the back seats, but that's difficult in older model cars. Newer cars, it's easier. But just make sure you know how to get out of your own trunk, and then make sure anytime you rent a car or hanging out with a friend, check out their trunks. Just give yourself that familiarization. But the basics is look for the release. If there's no release, try to kick down the back seats. If that's not doable, or you don't have the space to do it, then try to dig for the car jack, usually kept with the spare tire in the compartment underneath. You can crank it up, bust the trunk open, and escape that way. But knowing the anatomy and physiology of a trunk is obviously a good idea, just in case a good day goes bad. And then, of course, there's manually trying to get into the locking mechanism and undoing the latch so that you can open it too. But once again, make and model dictates everything. But yeah, anyway, some of this stuff is covered in Can You Survive, the podcast, obviously in 100 Daily Skill books. And all right, I'll start going through some questions here. I'm doing both Instagram and kind of YouTube here, so I appreciate your patience. And I can't read these damn things. I didn't bring my glasses. All right, so a lot of hellos. How you doing? Hello. Hey, Spencer, what's up? Let's see. Got a question. Okay, I got a lot of fire. A lot of, I don't know. Okay, not too many questions. That's okay. Pick up. Engineer, what do you think? Hey. Sure. Yep. So Violent Nomad, the t-shirts come from violentnomad.com. You can pick up yours. There's a lot of variants. There's also some everyday carry kits and stuff there. And then we just released a whole man cave section. So whether it's your gym, your home office, a man cave, your garage, there's a lot of cool stuff there. You can hang up the pineapple or pizza. Do I like pineapple or I like both. I like pineapple on my pizza. Best part of buds is probably peeing on each other in order to stay warm. At first, it seems a little disgusting, but over time you get used to it and you actually start to look forward to it, especially when you're cold. So yeah, peeing on each other. It's a whole lot of fun. Best part of buds. Budget-friendly classes for middle-income class like myself. I mean, a lot of the training out there is a couple $100 a day for weekend warriors, and that's probably a lot of money for some folks. Probably the biggest bang for your buck is finding an MMA place near you. They have a lot of great deals going as far as self-defense. And I would say as long as you're focusing on strikes and your ground game, then you're doing pretty good, right? I mean, knowing how to strike, using palms, fists, elbows, knees, shins, and then getting on the ground being worst case scenario, right? You want to basically never go to the ground, but you also have to be realistic knowing that 99% of fights go to the ground, right? So you want to avoid at all costs, but you need to have a good ground game just in case you end up there, right? Because most fights don't start with, all right, let's do this, and everybody puts their hands up. It's usually an ambush of some sort, sucker punch, something like that. So it's real easy to end up on the ground before you even have a chance, to get into a fighting stance, right? So I would say The cheap route is finding a good MMA place near you. Once again, leverage reviews and stars, make sure it's solid, good to go, and it's got great comments. And then, the monthly fee at these places is really minimal. And the same for shooting and any other type of self-defense you want to kind of go after. Once you save your money, then obviously go to some of these courses that are out there. Dom Rosso, Bill Rapier, Rich Graham, these guys are spread out all over the country, and make sure you check them out if you have the opportunity. Jeep's got zippers. Yep. Yeah, if you get kidnapped in a Jeep, obviously know how to undo the zippers. Right. I like that. It's funny. What else we got here? Thanks for the info. Let's see. Yeah, I need my readers. Whoever said that. You're right, Marcus. Thanks. I can't see. It's probably because it's too dark in here too. Right Kind of Crazy was excellent read, Clint. Quite the story and background, man. Yeah, thanks for reading it. It was a total flop. So for those of you who didn't know, I put out The Right Kind of Crazy, and it came out right at the end of the Russian investigation scandal on Trump, and as we rolled into the pandemic. So all the media I had lined up for that book basically canceled, and then I never got it back. So, but I do appreciate anybody who's read The Right Kind of Crazy. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a very human side of special operations, and that was the goal. Did I ever work with David? No, it doesn't look familiar, but who knows? I've got a bad memory. What else we got going on? Let me look on this one. Sorry, I'm kind of going back and forth. Hey, from France. Hey, France. Thanks for joining in here. The knife, the Outlaw. Yeah, so the Outlaw is a knife we debuted this year, available on violentnomad.com. We still have some in stock. Check it out. It's basic, it's simple, it's good for concealed carry, and it'll do the job. It's a great design. I did that with Philo Blades. Philo, he put together a great product for a very reasonable price. Where'd you get your tattoos? All over the place. My arms are done by JP up in Atlanta. He had like a 6-month wait, and then the tattered flags were done by 8 Ball up north. And once again, both these guys have waiting lists. I got on them and knocked them out. So this was 8 hours. So I did back-to-back with these 2 days straight. And then this was 8 hours, did 2 days straight. So that was a whole lot of annoying pain, but well worth it. All right. Thank you for your service. What were you in the Navy? I was a SEAL. I was a medic. Both of those. Always talk about guns and knives, bug out. They forget to include your books. Yeah. If you're going to build a bug out kit or anything like that, sure. Include these 100 Daily Skill books. I mean, that way you don't have to remember all this crap. You can just reference it, right? It's got pictures and they're illustrated. Okay, so that's it. Make sure you check out Can You Survive this podcast. I appreciate you guys tuning in on your lunch break. And I hope to see you next time. All right. So until next Tuesday, we'll see you around. Be safe out there. Remember, keep it simple because crisis will complicate the rest. All right.